This was a small transistor radio I picked up just after EMF camp in East Snore. The radio was actually bought in Ledbury in a charity shop. I just saw it in the window, thought I'll grab it and see if it'll make an interesting project to repair it. Welcome back to the messy bench. Today's project is this radio I picked up in Ledbury just after the EMF Camp Festival. It was in a charity shop in the window. Apparently they'd had a few more, or quite a stack of old radios in, but somebody had bought them all the day before I got there, so I didn't really get to pick. I just chose what was there. Paid £5 for it, sold a scene. It was British Red Cross charity. Don't know much about it. Looks like it's probably missing an antenna, telescopic antenna. Satellite 9 De-Luxe Hi-Fi. Had a quick search online, couldn't find anything. There's one other picture of this on Pinterest or something, but yeah. Leather or pleather case and pink plastic. So let's get it out of the box and see what it's like inside. So out of the box, it's this fetching gold plastic with pink rest of it. It's all very plasticky, cheap. I guess this is 1980s vintage, possibly a little bit older. Get some idea when we're inside. There's a screwdriver spot there. That's it. Leave it up. Tried switching it on. Don't think there's any batteries inside it, but let's have a first look. Okay, no battery, 9 volt. That looks a bit corroded. Yeah, it looks like whoever actually unplugged that probably pulled off the battery it was connected to. My guess is something has leaked horribly there. Let's unzoom a bit. There's a bit of discoloration on the speaker. Yeah, there's some sort of crud residue down in the corner. So that's where the antenna would have come in. Can we see any more? So there's a metal tab that's probably holding the front on. A mess around the speaker socket. Not obvious anywhere that the antenna would have connected, but let's see. Let's try putting some power on it, see what happens. Okay, connected up to the bench power supply, 9 volts. Let's turn the radio on. It sounds crunchy. Current draw. Yeah, the pot is definitely bad. Let's just short those two to make my meter read. That's it. The needle on my ammeter is a bit sticky at the low end, so sometimes you just have to short the power supply and make it swing over. So it's drawing 10 milliamps. Let's just check. Yeah, smack on 10 milliamps. At fairly low volume. So that's maximum volume, that goes up to about 30 milliamps. That seems a little bit on the high side for something running off a PP3, PP9, whichever this is, I can never remember. It sounds like there's some audio. There's a radio station there. I think it's set to medium wave. Oh no, it's set to long wave. Switch to medium wave, there should be a few more signals. Yeah. There's some audio. I think I'm getting the same problem as previous times where I'm getting interference off my LED lights. Does the dial track as I...
The attacking players as we were warming up. What did you see? Yeah, looking.
That's working, so it's football. Seems like it's in pretty good condition. Let's flip to long wave, see if we get anything. Just killed it, probably just disconnected it. Or hit the pot. No, I've just killed it. Okay. Bad connections. Do we hear anything on long wave? Yeah, long wave seems pretty quiet. I think it's just picking up interference, so let's have a dive inside it. So looking inside this radio now, fairly standard sort of double IF stage. There's a detector diode here, pre-driver, and then the transformer connected to the speaker. These are probably the oscillator cores for medium and long wave. These will be the trimmers for adjusting the ends of the band. Yes, first IF, second, third IF detector. Bit of a path the signal's got to go up to transformers, but yeah, fairly standard layout, nothing too fancy. This transistor has got a lot of corrosion on it. Let's zoom down. It looks and feels furry. Yeah, not quite sure what's going on there. The rest don't seem quite so bad. This one's in pretty good condition. These are okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 transistors. Only 7? Seems like it could probably be 8 transistors, but 7 transistors. Couple of electrolytics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrolytics, and not much else. What I might do is take it out of the case and get a look, see what the back of the board looks like, see if there is any battery corrosion. Right, start with a note to future me. Don't take that screw out. It's on the back of this idler pulley, which just keeps everything, keeps the string tensioned. So I undid all the screws, that popped off, and had to figure out where it went. Back of the board looks pretty awful. Load of fluff and shit. That can go in the bin. There's a bit of foam rubber that's probably completely disintegrated. Yeah, it's definitely sticky, doesn't want to come off the tweezers. I mean, the back of the board doesn't look too horrific. bit of a mess with all these twisted cotton covered wires everywhere for the coil, but otherwise no, not too bad. No obvious signs of battery corrosion, which would be down in this corner of the board if there was any. That's where the battery sits. They could do with a bit of a clean, but nothing's immediately leaping out, and well, in fact it seemed to receive something on medium wave, suggests there's nothing too horrifically wrong with this radio. It should be just maybe a quick tune up. This potentiometer is a bit, that's one of these with the built-in switch. Something there, whatever that is. Focus. Yeah, I'll do a bit more digging, see if I can get a bit of De-Luxe or something down this pot, make it less scratchy. So I got the volume knob off, just a tiny screw in there that looked like it'd been melted over the top to keep it in place. So just scrape that off with a scalpel. This is broken, whatever this was. Oh, so it looks like it's just a dust cover or something for the potentiometer. How does the track look with a bit of zoom? Deeply scored. Very deeply scored, in fact. Got no way to turn it now. Yeah, this is a radio that's had a lot of, you can see it's in places there's probably no contact being made at all now. Might need replacing. I'll squirt a bit of De-Luxe down there and see if it cleans anything up. That's probably more than enough. Run the pot back and forth. That's the end. That's the end. I'll get a meter on this at some point and see if it's improved it. Let the cleaning solution do a bit of magic and let the solvent evaporate, and then I'll come back to this. Back with this old radio that I picked up just after EMF camp. It's been sitting on the bench for a while now, and I kind of forgot where I'd got to. I'll have to go back and watch the first part of this video. Just put some volts on it again. Seems fairly lively on medium wave. The battery snap definitely needs replacing. I was just checking the dial cord. That all seems okay. It tracks. I don't have to replace this. Doesn't go around here, it's just over the top. That's just a freewheeling capstan. And I noticed a yellow wire which isn't connected to anything. I wonder if that's the aerial connection. So there's a hole in the case there, which I think is for a telescopic antenna, but the board sits in that way and that wire's not long enough to go to a telescopic antenna. Don't know where that goes. I need to investigate. That might be long wave, something to do with long wave. The long wave makes noise, but I don't hear any stations, so I'll investigate a bit further. While I was poking around, I added the new battery snap. This was obviously built down to a price. There was no strain relief, so I've just poked the wires through, tacked them back. Hopefully the battery shouldn't have too much strain on it. The wires going over to the speaker were pretty much junk. They've been pinched in the case and were just crap, so just replace those with a couple of other wires as well. Onwards to find out where this yellow wire goes and what it does. I don't want to have to remove this, because then I'd have to rerun the dial cord, and I hate doing that job. So I might just pull that off and see where that wire goes. Seems to dive down to a trace there. Let's see if we can figure it out. There's a really good reason for not doing what I was just about to do, because I checked and all of the dial cord is wound around here. The other side's just a nut. I thought it was the tuning capacitor, but obviously the tuning capacitor is this one. Should just look at the other side of the board first. So yeah, trying to work out where that yellow wire is connected to. Right, making some progress with this. Having to film in the dark because my LED light makes too much RF noise. But I've got a reasonably weak station. But if I connect to what I think was the external antenna pin, this yellow wire, with an external antenna, the signal gets much stronger. Horribly scratchy as I make the bad contact. Much clearer signal. So I think that was probably an external antenna connection. Just turn the radio off. I'm tracing just through where the wire goes to. It goes up to this pin on the variable capacitor, so that's all the antenna side of the capacitor, so that makes sense. I'll find a little whip antenna that I can add to this, and yeah, I think it's really just go through and peak the radio up. It seems to pretty much work. It's not doing too badly. I mean, the board's an absolute mess, and it's a rat's nest of wires, but that's what you get if you're building down to a price and only a single-sided board. Right, back when there's something else to show. Right, back with something to show. I found an old antenna. It's far too big for this radio. It's also very loose. Segments don't really make contact with each other, but only when you fully extend it. Had to tape it off to stop it shorting out the speaker. The only way to make a contact it being cut off, so I jammed a banana plug up inside it and soldered it in place with some of this aluminium solder that sticks to anything. Great stuff if you need to solder anything that doesn't want a tin or solder. Make sure you give the solder line a bit good clean afterwards, so it's corrosive. So that's wired in, just tacked on a blue wire which goes off over to the end of the capacitor. And the only way to actually fix this in was heat the end up and slightly melt it into the plastic. It's a complete bodge, but yeah, I have enough of this sort of radio. If I come across a better antenna, I'll put it in, but just for testing purposes. So let's put some power on it and see how it does. This radio is actually performing quite well. It's putting in some DX stations on long wave, which most of the other cheap transistor radios I've got never do. I don't know if conditions are up tonight or what, but yeah, it's performing quite well. It's definitely hand capacitive sensitive. If you tune just off a station and put your hand anywhere near it, the signal level changes and you tune or detune the whole radio. So it's not ideal, but it's not complete junk, which surprised me. So yeah, I think I'll chalk this one up to a success. I did have a quick sweep with the spectrum analyzer, and it's about as well aligned as it's going to get. Yeah, it was just an interesting little repair. Interesting to me anyway. Cheers.